Hey, thanks for joining us live here today for International Women's Day. Today, we're going to be celebrating women in business and leadership. And I have a co host, so let me bring her on. Welcome to the stage, Jade.
Hey Erica, how are you doing? Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I'm glad you're here. We got two other women with us that I want to bring on. Anka. Anka, welcome to the
Hi,
stage.
Erica.
And we also have here with us Maria. Maria, welcome to the stage. So today we're going to be talking about the things we do as women because it's International Women's Day. So we're going to start off with some introductions. Can you provide a brief background about yourself and your journey in business and leadership, including how you ventured into the world of live streaming? Anka, do you want to go ahead and take that one?
Okay, sure. Hi, my name is Anka Plato Jifan. As Erica has stated, I actually am the driving force behind Jifan Events, which is a video production and technology forward agency. I dedicate myself, a lot of time of myself, into integrating advanced AI solutions into business operations, events, event productions, live streaming as well. I'm also the host of Events Demystify podcast, the founder of two different communities, Feet Mind for Mavens and Women Behind the Scenes in Event Production and Event Technology. And all of those things are really aiming to uplift women and their wellness and their mental and physical fitness. Um, in specifically in the field of technology and production, because that's where my playground is. Over the years, I have been fortunate enough to receive several accolades and awards, which is great. What really sets my heart on fire really is being able to support women that are coming into the industry, especially having been in the industry for 20 years. I see a lot of young women wanting to get into live streaming, wanting to get into video production, wanting to get into event production and technology. And sometimes they are turned off because the entry barrier can be really high. And I'm excited to be able to talk more about, making it easy, making it accessible. And on top of that, I'm also a active bodybuilding competitor. I have been proud to have won several first places in wellness and bikini categories in several natural bodybuilding federations in 2023 and 2022. And this just reflects how hard I go in every area of my life and how much I care to bring excellence in everything that I do. And to just make things fun, I'm also a mom. I have two beautiful children that keep me on my toes, a 7 and 10-year old. Like that wasn't enough for everything else that I was doing.
Well, you left out that you're an amazing writer.
I do also write. Actually, writing is sort of like my outlet. A lot of the things that I kind of like hidden inside, and I was reflecting on that. Thank you so much for bringing that up because I think for the longest time I was actually afraid to share parts of me that were more vulnerable because I saw vulnerability being more like a weakness. But writing has helped me to, touch parts of my heart that were really, really tender that needed to be talked about, right? So yeah, thank you. That's another part of just me being me.
Well, I point that out because, as I told you before, you're one of my favorite writers on LinkedIn, and I want to encourage everybody. If you're not following Anka on LinkedIn, you should do that right now.
Well, we'll put
Well,
that in
thank
the
you so much
chat,
for
but I
mentioning
appreciate
that.
that.
I'm actually a fan of reading, so I'm definitely gonna go check this one out.
For the reference, what probably Erica you're referring to, every week I post a lot about my business, right? But I made it a point on weekends to post a personal post, and it actually has the hashtag personal post, and that's where I go behind the scenes. I talk about challenges. I talk about being a business owner in sometimes a very hard world, like a male dominated world. I've been in this world for 20 years, and it's not all rosy and beautiful, right? There's challenges to overcome. And then I also talk about my experience growing up in a country that it wasn't the easiest place to grow in. But anyway, enough about me. Let's move on to who's next. Who's gonna take on the mic next?
Well, let's ask Maria. Maria, Can you provide a brief background about yourself and your journey in business and in leadership, including how you ventured into the world of live streaming?
Oh, wow. Can you hear me? Can you hear
Yes,
me?
we can hear you.
Oh, wonderful. You may not see me, but hello, everyone. Oh, my goodness. For some reason, my camera's not working today. Oh, my goodness. I started 42 years ago. I started my first business in 1982 in New York City. And excuse me. And then after 4 years, it was a very successful business. We did medical exams for insurance companies. And then I moved back to Canada and started my consulting practice. And when I started my consulting, it was for business development, since I felt that I had something to offer. Having had my own business in New York City, like they say, if you can't make it in New York City, you can't make it anywhere, right? So so I kind of figured out, hey, I've got something to offer. So I developed courses for universities and colleges, and then I was on the road for an American company where I was delivering programs all over Canada and USA. For women, basically for women, the softer skills like time management, how to get along with difficult people, how to work in that setting. And I did that for about a couple of years. And then I went into real estate. I decided that was too much stress, being on the road, being on the stage for 8 hours a day, traveling, selling. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to settle down and buy a bed and breakfast and cottage rental, which is what I did. So I went full time as a real estate investor. I don't buy and sell real estate, I buy and hold. And then why did I get into streaming? 2018, I could see there was a shift with streaming. And I wanted to be part of that shift because I had a lot of things I wanted to offer people, especially people in real estate. So what I did is I started a group that we met once a month for 5 years in my area near Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. And I did that for 5 years. And then what I noticed, and this is the reason I've even mentioned all of this, I noticed that people were coming down from Toronto. It took them 2 hours to get down here, and they got stuck in traffic. So I thought, why don't I just do this? Why don't I just start doing a radio show? So that's what I did. I started a radio show, and from there, actually, what I did is I started my radio show, and then from there, what I did is I went into owning my own radio station, which I just launched this year, actually last year. And why? Again, reaching other people, having more control of what people were hearing and seeing. And the station is called realwealthradio.net. And it's the tagline is "Come for the music, stay for the business advice." So that's kind of my journey, that I went through. And I was producing in 2020, like one video a day, interviewing people and uploading it on YouTube and putting it on my podcast. So that's kind of my journey. I could see that as a natural fit.
All right.
That's awesome. I have the same radio experience, Maria. Actually, I started in radio before I got into event productions and technology. Okay. So that kind of brings back a lot of good memories.
Oh, yeah.
Now I have a podcast. I don't call it radio, but I mean, you could have a radio station, I suppose.
Yeah, I could. And that's another technology I'm learning, because I actually have my own station. So I have to learn everything, uploading the songs and then getting the guests and producing my own shows. But that's where it comes in really handy, having podcasts or having YouTube videos. You just upload it and just play it, yeah. Right? And actually, this is kind of interesting. Today I'm going to be celebrating starting to actually do live shows on my radio station.
I was going to say probably the next step is having actually a live show in the radio station. Oh yeah, for sure. My own radio station.
I love it. Yeah, well, I do my shows every Thursday on 4680q.ca and I've been doing it since 2019. So I do enjoy. I try. Why we need the internet radio stations is because we can reach more people. Absolutely. That's why I did it, right? Otherwise, you have a very small circle.
All right, nice. Well, Jay, you want to answer this question also? Can you provide a background about yourself and your journey in business and leadership, including how you got into live streaming?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Thank you so much. All right. So my field was kind of very off track from live streaming or any of this world. I got my degree in engineering, software engineering. And pretty much all my life.
Whoop. Sorry, Jade. Pushed the wrong button. Let me get you back here. I was trying to move you over. Please continue.
Oh, okay. Am I audible?
Yes.
All right. So after getting my degree in software engineering, I was always a behind the screen kind of person, always doing that development and coding kind of stuff. But right after I finished my degree, I realized that I don't want to stay behind the screen. And that's when I started doing makeup and styling. That's kind of my thing. I want to do the fashion kind of thing. I've always enjoyed doing that. And for starters, I was just doing that on my Instagram, making these random tutorials, styling videos, and posting them just for fun. And that was when I started getting a really good response in them. And I just kept getting this feedback, from friends and family that you should do that, you're good at it. And that was when I started live streaming, because why not? If you're good at something, might as well show it to the world. So that's pretty much about it. And I haven't been long in it, maybe a year or so. So that's about it myself.
All right. That makes sense. I like that you say you have fun doing it. So what's the point of working if it's not going to be fun or entertaining?
Exactly.
All right. I have a part 2 to this question. So since I got you front and center, I want to go ahead and ask you, how has your experience in live streaming shaped your approach to business and leadership? And what inspires you to integrate live streaming into your overall strategy? Need a minute, Jade?
Oh, do you want me to go first?
Yes, please.
Oh, okay. Well, I think maybe someone else should go first, because I don't think I'm kind of in the learning stage. So I'm just doing what feels right to me, just what feels right to my heart, and just doing that gives me the motivation that I need. So it hasn't really been about balance and right and wrong for me. I've just been following my heart, and I've been getting full support about it. So I think that was it for me. It was never a difficult choice.
Okay. Oh, that's not a bad answer. We didn't need to let somebody else go first. You got it. Okay.
I think for me, actually, obviously, having been in events and event productions, streaming was part of events for a long time. Actually, I was thinking about when was the first time I started streaming, and it was 15 years ago, before COVID brought it front and center, right? I had to stream my wedding because my parents couldn't attend it, and I got married here in US. My parents were still living and are living in Romania. My entire family is there, and the only way to bring them into this celebration was to find a way to take the wedding to them, right? And that was, okay, let's figure out how we're gonna stream. Just had a camera, and I think we used at the time Ustream. That used to be the platform that a lot of other places were streaming to, and I think that platform ended up being bought by Adobe or something. And that was my first foray into streaming. Then in events, by default, there's going to be a need where you want to stream from this audience to another, just based on where your event is. And if this is a worldwide event, obviously it makes sense that you might not be able to fit everyone coming from all over the place in one venue. So the best way to bring them into your event, into your content, is to go to their place, to their home office, whatever they might be. So we did that for a while, but I think what happened in 2020, that concept of streaming of virtual events got accelerated to the nth degree, because we were faced with, oh my gosh, all the events are gone, all the in-person events are gone. Now what, right? So we had to come up with solutions. And for me, having been in the event space for so long, the best solution was like, well, let's take this event that normally would be a 3-hour-long event and turn it into a very concise TV show, like kind of like a 45-minute, super engaging, super fast moving stream. And that propelled us into the world of like pivoting to digital events. And there's still a good amount of events that are still embedding live streaming and the digital ready platform to be their avenue for events, as much as we went back to in person and we're trying to do things the same way like we have before COVID. But really, my experience has really shaped, my approach to business and leadership, because it brought this realization that it's so much easier now to have access to a worldwide audience and to real-time engagement, and to sharing your knowledge, sharing your expertise, sharing transparency and authenticity in so many different ways by the tools that we now have available. And you can connect with your audience on such a deeper level and drive business growth if that's your purpose and if that's what your focus is. And it also taught me to be very adaptable and creative and responsive to this ever evolving digital landscape. And I love that, because I thrive on challenge. I thrive on anything that's new, anything that's upgoing. And if this wasn't changing as fast, probably I would get bored. So I'm excited to be in this space.
All right. I'm glad you're here. So the streaming of your wedding, who held the camera? Did you get someone to volunteer to hold the camera and live stream for you? Did you have to set up the live stream for them?
We had a tripod.
Okay.
Yeah, we just we had set a camera on a tripod that was, facing the front of the room, the whatever ceremony where we were in, or the space we were in, and actually even streamed the reception. And that was, I think, the cherry on top, because they expected for us to stream the ceremony, right? Like where the vows, all of that. But then we also streamed parts of the reception, which is in a completely different venue. And both of myself and my husband had been, very techy in production. So we were the ones setting it up. I'm like literally changing wedding dresses, and then also, getting the technology ready, because I'm like, I want them to be part of it, So yeah, it was such a blessing for them to be able to partake into the event.
Nice. I'm glad you did that so your family could be a part of it. So Maria, now it's your turn. Let me try to put you front and center. There you go. Okay, so how has your experience in live streaming shaped your approach to business and leadership, and what inspired you to integrate live streaming into your overall strategy? But I got to tell you, I really like what you said about being stuck in traffic or hearing about people stuck in traffic. So you got to start your own radio show. So, yeah.
When I was hosting my live events once a month, I was doing for 5 years. We had real estate investors and mortgage brokers and everyone coming down to the Niagara region. They got stuck in traffic. And I thought, well, if we live stream it, more people will see it. So besides the people coming down, so that's what got me. I wanted to share the information I knew. I could see, because I have a number of Facebook pages. I'm very heavily into social media and have been since 2012. And I could see there was people were asking questions. I thought, well, no one's answering them. So I kind of took it upon myself to say, okay, this is what we need to add to the actual meeting. So while the meetings were going on, when we had the guest speakers, I actually had a team of people, all volunteers, that actually helped stream it. So because I didn't know how to do it, okay, but I knew we needed to do it. So then slowly I had to learn, and they were teaching me. And now I'm trying to do it. And I apologize, everyone, for the frames dropping. Obviously, there's something wrong with the internet. I mean, maybe it's just very slow over here. I think you can see me once in a while, right? You can hear me. Okay. So that's what it was, pretty much sharing the information, trying to reach more people. And then that's why I went on in 2019 for my radio show, again, trying to share and reach more people. And now with the radio station, to reach people all over the world. That was what I wanted to do with this information that they needed to know. So exactly the same thing as the lady before me, exactly the same reason, trying to share my knowledge or other people's knowledge for everyone. They don't have to pay anything for it. You just have to sit through it, which can be the hardest thing. Yeah, that's why I did it.
All right. Makes sense. Okay, so now I have challenges and overcoming obstacles. How do you believe the power of live streaming as a marketing tool has been perceived and utilized? Do you think there are unique advantages or challenges that women leaders may face in harnessing the potential of live content creation for their professional growth?
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to take that one?
I can speak to that, but first, actually, I want to acknowledge all the people in the chat that are going super hard at it, and I appreciate all of your guys' comments. Happy Women's Day to every woman making a difference out there. That is basically the main message there. I would love to know where you're all tuning from. Like, I haven't seen that yet dropped in, so feel free to drop it. I have this inkling that we have an international audience.
Mhm.
And I would love to see where everybody is tuning in from. I think, being an international myself, a transplant from Romania, has had its own benefits because I can really relate to a lot of people and challenges that come from different parts of the world that do not live the American way, right? So I feel like that's one of the way in which live streaming has shined because it connects you to an audience beyond your backyard, beyond what you know, beyond what you're used to. And if you've never traveled international, and I know plenty of people living here in the US that have never traveled internationally and they're not exposed to other cultures to understand how diverse we all are. And if you are able to do live streaming and connect with this audience, I promise you, you will enrich your experience, your life experience, not just your business alone. For me, streaming has been part of my embedded into my business because, again, I have a video production agency that has been in the event production world for like 20 something years. But I have also seen how it has shaped our events and our experiences all the way from engagement to being able to monetize that. And yes, you can say, you reach a broader audience, but I think beyond that, you also have to have some kind of a strategy of, so what do you do now that you have the attention of a broader audience? You need to be able to embed a strategy behind your outreach so that then you can have a system, a process that will take that audience into whatever service or whatever path or funnel you want to create with your services. For us, for example, in the event world, being able to stream a conference, a recent conference, we used streaming and different methods to reach this audience. And we have attracted actually thousands of virtual attendees that would have not been possible if they were to be all in one conference room or space. Because I mean, most of the event conventions out there and conferences, probably they can fit, I don't know, 20,000 at least, right? But then if you go on a streaming platform, you can go unlimited as far as the platform, the bandwidth, and all the things are concerned. Obviously, there's some limits as to what platform we use for that. Anyway, for me, real-time engagement is one of the biggest things. Being able to participate and see people in the chat and have the ability to answer questions, polls, virtual networking, and lately using a lot of AI tools to enhance that and use algorithms to make that networking more purposeful and strategic is really where I see the benefit of being able to go out into the world and be exposed, and not just the culture, the different people that you would be interacting with, but also providing services to a much wider audience than you'd be able to if you're just in person.
I like that.
Yes.
Wider audience, streaming. Yes.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay. So, Jade, let me put you front and center because I got to know your thoughts on this too.
All right.
How do you believe the power of live streaming as a marketing tool has been perceived and utilized? Do you think there are unique advantages or challenges that women leaders may face in harnessing the potential of live content creation for their professional growth?
All right. So my take on that would be I feel like the biggest advantage that live streaming is giving is that it's actually providing you a platform without providing you any platform to just say whatever you want to say, just go above and beyond. Like, you don't want to buy an office. You don't want to go to a building to just start your work. You can just be sitting at your house. You're going to be doing your thing, and anything that you do, whether you're cooking, whether you're, I don't know, it's fashion, it's styling, it's beauty, whatever you're doing at your houses, it's actually allowing you to show that to the world without, making it too difficult for me. So I feel like that's the biggest advantage it's putting up. And as for the challenges, I believe that as a woman, we might have to face a certain level of challenge because, as Anka mentioned earlier, there's a very male-dominant society, and it's actually a challenge on its own to be a woman. And I mean, let's just agree to it. So when we're doing that, it's actually so hard because it's not just about showing what we have got. It's more about competing or comparing that we can actually do what you guys are doing, maybe sometimes even better. So it's a competition without even announcing that it's a competition. So that has got to be the biggest challenge. So I feel like if that's something that we can overcome, or something just we can maybe just leave behind, that all right, fine, it's not a competition. You do you, and I'll do me, and we're all just the best of whatever we are doing. So I feel like that's something that would be do a lot of good if we can just achieve that certain level of balance. So yeah, all in all, I think it's actually providing a very good chance to all the women who want to prove themselves. So yeah.
I got to throw in my own 2 cents here. I
Yeah.
hear you guys say that there's a challenge, but when I see you, I just see you being amazing. I'm seriously. I
Yeah.
see your posts on TikTok, Jay. You're amazing.
Thank
Anka,
you so much.
I see you on LinkedIn.
This is what I'm talking about. We can just, support each other. This is great. Like, we are literally live streaming right now, and we are just supporting. So what could be better?
Yeah, it makes sense.
I think there's definitely something to be said about that, Erica. There's definitely this push to show yourself strong and capable and being able to do a lot of things. And I pride myself in being able to do a lot of things that I'm passionate about. But I think there's also something to be said about being open and sharing challenges. I was reading a study where top level executives, and I'm talking about $1 million companies with women leaders, which there's not a lot of women leaders in those C-level seats, but there was a request for even them at that level to be more transparent about how are they able to hold these positions of power while also having a family. And they were talking about like having 3 or 4 different nannies. Like someone like me that is looking at this person that holds this position of power and is thinking, oh my goodness, how is she able to do this? I'm not thinking that she might have 5 nannies taking care of her kids. Because now I'm like, oh my goodness, like now I need 5 nannies to do everything that I need, right? So I feel like it's a double-edged sword. Yes, you can do a lot of things. Yes, you can show yourself as being strong and capable, but also admit to some of the things that you get support from. Not everybody is able to say, well, I can afford, having 1 nanny, let alone 5. That's not the case for a lot of us, right? So I juggle everything, and sometimes things just fall through the cracks, and sometimes it's not always pretty, and it's not always beautiful, and it can be messy. But we do get out there, and sometimes we just show that strong face and strong persona instead of also being able to be a little bit vulnerable and go behind the scenes and share some of that. And I've been really a strong, especially as of the last 3-4 years, I guess COVID brought that out of me, where I am sharing all the achievements, but at the same time, I want to be realistic and true to myself, and also share the parts that are not always perfect, are not always both high grade, right? And there's places where I'm failing, and that's okay. I am learning as I'm going through this journey, and I am not a superwoman. I have my own weaknesses, and I constantly learn and grow. But it's just something to be able to share with your audience so they can relate and they can look at you. Okay, so you're not that perfect persona, and maybe somebody that just wants to see that. that fits the perfect part of you. But the reality is none of us are perfect. We all have things, that we struggle with and challenges that we need to overcome. And being able to be true to yourself, I think it's important to show that side of you as well.
Okay. Well, me knowing your time management skills, or my perception of your time management skills, yes, you are a superhero.
I do have to be very, very, very disciplined and organized. And that is one place where I agree. Like, for me, that's not a negotiable, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to do a lot of the things that I do, even if all of those things that I do, they're not always perfectly perfect. You know what I mean? I do would like to say that I strive for excellence. Perfection is, I don't know, a little bit, something that maybe it's putting too much pressure on ourselves when you think of that.
Okay, I understand. Let's see, I gotta push some more buttons here. I want to share a video with you guys, because I've seen it at least 4 times. I think it's amazing. So let me take this off right here. Let me show this. Wait. I gotta push more buttons. Okay, so I'm queuing you guys up because I gotta say this in my best ringmaster's voice. Ladies and gentlemen, streaming enthusiasts and content creators, all the women in business out there. I'm trying to use my ringmaster voice while reading. Okay, we have a surprise lineup for you. Join us for a fresh look at OneStream Live for its launch event. Okay, now I get to push more buttons. Live streaming that keeps you ahead. Kudos and shout outs to whoever put the music together with that video. That was nice. Okay, so the new studio is now 50 times more stable and powered packed with some amazing features. To top the list is portrait streaming. You can now live stream vertical format videos on platforms like TikTok, like Instagram, and all others that support portrait streaming. Not forgetting the innovative features such as overlays, guest authentications, and the new circular layouts, much more. That circular layout, I was playing with that a little earlier. I like that. It's something about circles.
It's different.
Now that I want to push the circles, I can't push the circles. I hate that. But I thought it was the coolest thing because circles are inclusive and exclusive. So, but maybe later. Okay, so let me get to the next question here. How have you witnessed the impact of live streaming on your industry and revenue generation? And can you share specific examples or insights into how it has transformed your business? Let's go to Maria for that one. Maria, would you like to answer this question first, please?
Can you hear me? Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay, now you unmuted me. Okay, very good. I wanted to, if I could just add something before I answer that question about the question before. I think we need to understand that most of the people that you're admiring that are in the $1 million mark or more than that, and Anko, you were mentioning that they had nannies. That's not real life. That's not real business. You know what, I'm going to tell you something, being in business 42 years, and this is my own business, my own money from the very beginning with nothing until where I am right now, I would challenge those people that you're looking up to, that you feel they've done such a good job. I would challenge them to start a business from day one with nothing, which is what all of us have done. I'm going to tell you, they would not be able to do it, because they are in a position, they are put in those positions by certain people they know. This is all by friendships, political this and political that. It's not reality. I'm going to tell you that from my own experience. So I think people are making, hurting themselves by looking at these people saying, hey, she has 5 nannies. Well, where does she get the money from 5 nannies? She must have a husband probably that has a really good job too. So we're not at the same level playing field. And I like to bring people down to reality. I'm sorry, that's who I am. I'm a realist. And I think more women and men need to be down here where the reality is, rather than going over there where you don't understand what's going on behind the scene, what universities have gone to, what kind of groups they belong to, that we're not allowed to get into those groups, no matter how hard you try. That's why a lot of women just give up and start working from home or start, building their own business. And this is the time for women with a sense of reality to come down and start from the very beginning. We may never be billionaires, and we don't have to be. That doesn't make you happy. I think you have to look at 2 different things here. When you have pride in what you're doing and you've reached your goals, and then looking at somebody it's not even reality anymore. Okay, so going back to the other question, I hope that helps a little bit and may give some people strength, and maybe we'll kind of zero in on, hey, really, what's going on, right? What's really going on? What's the real reality about business? And I'm sorry, did you want to ask me another question there?
Well, I can repeat the question. It was,
Don't
how
mind.
have you witnessed the impact of live streaming on your industry and revenue? And can you share Now I'm messing up. And can you share specific examples or insights into how it has transformed your business?
Oh yeah. Well, I see life completely different now, and like Anka, I can reach more people. And so, I went into the YouTube and the podcasting started in 2018, and I could see that was good, but there was so much competition out there, right? There's 130 million or more videos uploaded on YouTube every single day. So you're fighting against, the numbers of games you have to play and how much money you have to spend on the background that nobody talks about to be able to reach certain heights, because people are spending money. Don't fool yourself. In order to get 30 million people watching you, you're paying somebody to do that for you. It's not just done by the algorithms. That's not the way it is. Okay. So that we should understand. I think if you understand that and not kick yourself because you're not getting as many views as you'd like, or likes or whatever else, because you have to pay for that, just like everything else in life. So when I started my syndication, I was on 3 radio stations. I'm still on 1 right now. I could see that I was reaching people from all over the world. And that was, for me, was necessary, because I felt whatever I had to say, whatever anyone else had to say, was really important. Because I always had guests, I always had guests coming in, and they could share their business, and maybe they would get more business because they were on my show, and that was done for free anyways. So that's why I went into the radio station, is because, again, I wanted to control it. Like, I guess I'm a controller, and I want to control my life, my money, my everything. I don't want to depend on anyone else from the outside, and whether that's right or wrong. But I'm a baby boomer, and baby boomers, that's how we were brought up, to be self-sustaining, to rely on yourself, and to learn and keep educating yourself. So that's why I've done it. So I can control the radio station, and I can have guests on there, and we can reach the whole world, because it's an internet-based radio station. Rather than being terrestrial. If you wanted to have your own radio show, you know how much it would cost you? $2,000 a month, just for 1 hour. And you would have to get people. That's terrestrial, which means you have a certain you have a certain distance where that radio station goes. Where's the regular media? Excuse me. But since 2020, we've got a lot of independents coming in now. So nobody even listens to the regular media. I don't listen to that, because that's not where the truth is. I go into the podcast, I go into the YouTube videos, I go into the internet radio stations, because that's where you see independents like ourselves that want to make a difference. It's not about the money necessarily. It's about making a difference and reaching a bigger crowd. So that's how I see it.
Okay, that makes sense. Jay, you're up next. So, Jay, one more time. How have you witnessed the impact of live streaming on your industry and revenue generation? And can you share specific examples or insights into how it has transformed your business?
Okay, so it's like I'm like a one-man thing right now, so I'm not sure if I'd say that it's transformed me. But what I do think is that it has really given me a platform on which I can actually not depend on anyone and just be, my own thing without actually having to count on anyone. Even for my shows, even for the content I make, it's like a one-man job. I don't need help from anyone. I don't need anyone else to, I'm not dependent on anyone. So that's actually what I like the most about it. So the examples that I would give is kind of my own. I mean, and I'm not saying in that way. I'm actually really proud of myself for what I'm doing, but it's just that I haven't. Just like I think Maria mentioned that I think it's very easy looking at someone else and thinking that okay, so they built that or they did that thing. But it's a whole different kind of story when you're doing it on your own because your circumstances are different, your resources are different, your mindset is different. The kind of thing you want to do, the kind of position from where you're actually starting your work, that's all different. So looking at examples to get motivated is all fine to a certain level, but I think by the end of the day, we just have to start our own thing from zero. So that's what really matters. You just have to focus on yourself. So that's my stance on it. Actually, what do you think about it, Erica? It's about time you say something.
You caught me. Okay, so have I witnessed an impact in streaming? I really think how, like all of you said, that it gives you some independence. It lets me do my own thing when I want to. But you know what? Working with other women, I've learned that it's okay to ask for help and people will show up and actually help you. Like I've been shocked and surprised by that, but I'm lucky to know great women who knows about live streaming and knows about events and who are willing to help me because that's really important. So revenue, yeah, this is where I got my start in making money at home, live streaming. See, so that's
I want to add something to that. I feel like there's obviously empowerment in being able to do this for yourself. But I think the next step up from there is actually to use the skills and what you have learned and provide that as a service to clients to up level and grow from there. Because I have started, like everyone else, doing it for myself. It was great. I have a video podcast that has been a video podcast for 5 years that has been streaming on the internet. But really, that was great, but it gave me a voice. It gave me control over that content. But then what has really changed the game for my agency in growth was to take that skill set and then provide it as a service to other people and multiply that in other ways. So if you are getting good at something, don't just keep it there. Grow with it. Now you can have multiple streamers on your team that can do the same thing for your clients. You can take events globally and then you can stream them. You can reach audiences and you can bring in extra cash through virtual tickets, sponsorships, ads. Our last conference, we doubled our attendance online just by giving that extra streaming as an option, which was a serious revenue kick. It's not just being able to do this as, I'm going to do this for myself and that's great. Grow it from there, put some strategy behind it. And this is real world life. Like we're not living somebody else's life. We're actually living our own life, our own narratives. And it's important to take charge of it in all areas. And to me, like it has to have some strategy. It has to have some processes. It has to have some vision into the future. What am I doing with this and where am I growing it? And what else can be done in this space?
I like that. I hope you get the recording of this and make that a soundbite because that was amazing. Okay, so Anka, since you're front and center, let me ask you the next question. Building a personal brand. With personal branding taking center stage in 2024 and entrepreneurs giving it attention, what is your take on the trend And can you tell what common mistakes people might be making in this area?
Well, I feel like personal brand is not really just a thing of the 2024. It has been a thing of a while. I have actually started being strategic about building my own brand uh, back in 2013 when I was working for someone else. And I didn't call it personal brand. I just knew that if I am to build something in the future forward, again, I'm always looking what is the future, what is the path I want to be on. I have to start creating something that is of my own, independent of what I'm doing for other people. And my brand became so strong that at one point, my employer became threatened by it. And that's when we had to, separate ways. And I took on, and that was the best decision of my life when I decided to go on my own. But I have built up to that point. It wasn't just an overnight, oh, I'm just going to start doing this thing on the side. I worked towards that, right? So personal branding can be a really game changer for anyone that has that entrepreneurial spirit in them. But it also has to be about authenticity and consistency and discipline and being organized. And yes, when it comes to authenticity, I'm big on that. Like we talked about those women in C-level seats, that's not real life. I don't think it's okay for us to generalize because we don't know their stories. I think everybody has a story and should be allowed to speak their voice and speak their story, regardless how they got to that place, regardless what challenges they've had. I feel like as people, we need to be real because we want to connect with real people. We want to be relatable individuals, not just faceless businesses. And for me, that's what personal branding does to my business. I am the brand of my own business. So obviously I am the one that will always show up on camera and speak and talk. I think one common mistake that I've seen is trying to be someone that you're not, or portraying an image that doesn't align with who you are. And another pitfall in this space is consistency, like being active on your social media channels for 1 week and then just disappearing for months. Building a strong personal brand takes time, effort, but then if you're doing it right, it can be a powerful tool for growing your business and connecting with your audience on a deeper level.
I like that. When I graduated for graphic design, it was back in 2006. Our exit portfolio needed to have our own brand. We didn't call it personal brand then either. We just call it your brand. So, and it was on our resumes. It was on our work. It was the thing that represents us without us being there. Oh, just had to throw that out there too. Maria, would you like to also answer this question? Let me push the button here.
Yeah, just repeat the question again, please.
Yes. So with personal branding taking center stage in 2024 and entrepreneurs giving it more attention, what is your take on the trend? And can you tell what common mistakes people might be making in this area?
That's a really good question, Well, personal brand, quite frankly, has been around for many years now, myself being in business for so many years, 42 years. I think what a lot of people are doing is, and I've seen this, where a lot of people have started their business and they really don't have that much experience in what they want to teach someone else. So I think sometimes they may have a hard time launching that business because of the experience. People always ask, how many years experience or do you have a website? I think it's very important, the website, the streaming, absolutely, like Anka says, to be consistent, with your shows. But not everyone appreciates that. I mean, we're just kind of new even with this streaming, like a lot of businesses don't do it, don't want it. A lot of businesses don't even have a website. So some people are at disadvantages. There's a long learning curve. I mean, when you think when I started in 1982 was when I started my first business. I mean, look at the changes that have happened within the business itself. Look at all of the technological changes. I had my first website in 1993. Nobody even had that. Nobody even knew what that was. In 2000, again, I had a number of websites built because I was launching my bed and breakfast and cottage rental. So like it's a step by step thing of becoming a brand, and it doesn't happen overnight. And I think being very unique and really knowing your audience of who you're going towards helps a lot. And if you're going to have an audience or you're going to be teaching, not everyone has the money, to take the courses. And especially now with the way the economics is, because I worked as a coach and consultant, and I traveled doing that for a number of years, it was very easy to make money then because nobody was doing. I was the only one in my area as an independent consultant and trainer. Nobody else was doing that. Nobody even knew about that. Everybody had a job, just about broke job. And I didn't want that. What I wanted was to have my independence. So I worked part-time at 7 jobs. Believe it or not, that's how I built my wealth. Worked 7 jobs, then I built my business on the side. Now, having said that, I didn't have a husband. I didn't have children. So you have to keep that in proportion of what I was able to do as a single woman. But again, I didn't have the money from another source. So I had to find it. So I always said my part-time jobs were my husband and my business was me. So I'd be 2 people at the same time juggling it, right? And then in 2018, I was able to become completely me. I retired from all the jobs I had, and that was even owning real estate. And I went into just being completely dependent on my real estate as an investor. So think about that, 1982 until 2018. Look at that long cycle where I had to keep going, right? So I think a sense of reality and understanding where you're going and who your customer is very important.
All right. So, Jade, I'm not sure if I've asked you this question before. Did I ask you this question already? So I don't think
Yeah,
so.
I think, yeah. I started with this one, didn't I?
Okay, I'm off track. Okay, well, Jade, since you're already here, how about the next question? What
Right.
key steps do you take in building your personal brand? And what, in your view, makes it successful?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
All right. What key steps do you take in building your personal brand? And what, in your view, makes it successful?
All right. So the first thing that I think that I do for myself is, just before, whenever an idea pops up into my mind, before actually putting it into action, I definitely do go ahead and check how that's going on the socials, on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I definitely have to check how people are responding to that kind of content. If that kind of content has been made before, if that's the case, if I can make any changes, and how people are responding to it. The comment section is my favorite one because you're gonna get some hilarious insight from the comment section. People are just, they don't have any filters in there. So you want to know that because even if you're recreating something, I do recreate stuff a lot of times, but even when you're recreating something, you just have to, I don't know, make sure not to do the mistakes or get an his opinion to see what kind of thing is it that the people are looking for in a content. So that's the kind of backdrop research that I always do before posting anything or creating anything. That's a starter for me. It has always worked great because the thing about, kind of coming late to the live streaming world is that you can actually learn from what has already happened. It's not always good because whenever you're first to something, it's there's always margin for error, and that's fine. But why not just learn from it? So I think that's something that I really, really do keep in mind whenever I'm up to creating something.
All right.
I love that, Ajay. I think you definitely bring a fresh perspective into the world of streaming,
Yeah.
and you're a great example for all the millennials out there that probably they have not necessarily experience with it at a high level. I mean, everybody's been on TikTok and Instagram Reels and posted a selfie somewhere, right? But when it
Yeah.
comes to streaming, many are a little bit, concerned as in, oh my gosh, it sounds like a lot of work, or it sounds like I'm not technical enough. How would you speak to those fears?
Okay, so about the fear part, I feel like you're never gonna know until you actually do it. When I had my first show, I was so nervous because I was like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? What are they gonna ask? What am I gonna say? What if I don't know the answers? I had all of these questions running in my mind. But the only thing that I did at that moment was I just took a deep breath and I went right in and I was like, okay, whatever's gonna happen, I can do it. I wanted to do this, right? I'm here because I wanted to do it. So I'm going to do it. Whatever is it, whatever they throw at me, I'm going to take it. And I think when the first step has got to be the hardest. No matter how much homework you do before coming, it has to be the hardest one. So when you do that, the only thing that I keep telling myself is, what's the worst that's going to happen? So that's a question that I keep asking myself, and it's just always okay. So I think you're never going to know until you actually do it. So that's always my take on it. That's always what I tell to people around me, that just do it. Just do it and you will see what happens. It's not going to be that bad. So that's how I tackle it.
I like that.
Love that.
Anka, I know you have to go in just a little bit, but let me get one more question in if you can. Balancing work and life. How do you think motherhood penalty, or do you think motherhood penalty is a real thing?
Well, thank you so much for bringing that up. I think that's a very important question, especially for all the mothers out there, also being business owners and juggling a lot of things. And sometimes it could feel like motherhood penalty is real, and especially in certain industries, especially in my industry, a male-dominated industry of production and technology. And we also face discrimination and biases in the workplace. And when we become mothers, we're questioned if we're just as dedicated to the work as we were before. And a lot of that can lead to lower pay, can lead to fewer opportunities, fewer promotions, and limited career advancements. And in my field, I have had to stand up as a woman in event productions and talk about those issues and give a voice to the ones that don't have the same, courage to speak up. And I have lost clients over it. I have lost contracts over it. I have lost. There was a price to pay, but at the same time, I'm at a place in my career and in my life where I can afford that. And I'm okay with it. And if I am to be the one leading the way and talking about those issues, and I do that on my podcast, I do that through interviews and through my posts, I'm okay with paying that price, because then I can, hopefully make a better, lead the way, pat the path so that it's better for the people coming behind me, for the women coming behind me, and they can be women, they can be mothers, they can be professionals without having to sacrifice as much as I had to. So I think it's important to address those systematic changes in the workplace that need to happen, the attitudes, the policies, to ensure that all women, regardless of their parental status, have equal opportunities to thrive in their careers. And as a woman that has juggled business, leadership, personal life, it is sometimes a very hard balancing act, especially with the added demands of wanting to be on camera all the time. Like just getting my face ready to speak can be, like it's anxiety inducing. But personally, if you are, like Jade was saying, not afraid to fail and get back up again, I call that shame resilience, where you no longer are held back by somebody else saying something, because you know what your identity is, you know what you're capable of, you know what you can do, and you're gonna show up. It's like, hey, yeah, well, that didn't work out as planned, but guess what? I'm back up and I'm gonna do it again, and I'm gonna do it maybe differently because I've learned a few lessons in the process. But that's not gonna stop me for just pushing forward and going after it. And I've learned the best lessons actually in my bodybuilding fitness journey. I constantly apply lessons, discipline, consistency, and dedication to that into my business. I draw so many parallels that some people are just getting sick of me talking about it, but I don't care. Like, that is what drives me forward, and that's where my lessons are coming from, because I can see how you can still have that sweet spot between work, business, and play. Have fun with it, and carve out time for the things that really matter to you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Discipline gets you what you want. And
Yes.
if you guys aren't following Anka by now on LinkedIn, please do so down. When I tell you that her time management skills are on point, you're going to want to know what she's doing. And she has a boot camp coming up for repurposing your content. You're definitely going to want to know when that's coming out.
Yes.
Totally. Well, thank you so much, Erica. For everyone that will stay on past this, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate the conversation, such amazing panelists, and I look forward to catching up to the end of this. But actually, what I'm going to do next is jump into another live stream. If you're a woman that is celebrating Women's Day, we are going to kick off in an hour another stream on LinkedIn and YouTube. You can find that under my profile, and it's an open conversation about those challenges of being a business owner, of being a strong, high achieving woman that is doing everything, but also looking behind the scenes, sometimes feeling like, it's the real life is real. So what do we do? Like, how do we balance the two in a way that is authentic, but also with grace? So thank you for this opportunity, Erica, and I look forward to seeing the end of this later.
All right. Well, thank you for being here, Anka. I appreciate it. Okay. So let me ask Maria.
Okay. Ask me the question again because I got caught up. Anka spoke such wise words. Such wise words. Thank you.
Do you think motherhood penalty is a real thing?
Yes, I do. I do. Myself, I decided not to, my husband and I decided not to have children. Very early in my life, I didn't want children because I knew I couldn't do both myself. So I really admire anyone who has both. But I think, Annika said something very wise. You do as much as you can. And just be grateful for the family. I mean, for myself, I mean, I worked very hard. I had the 7 jobs in 7 days. Then I was building my business. But I took time to see my friends, go out for dinner, go to the theater, go and visit my parents, spend Sunday with my family or by myself. Part of the schedule was my family and my friends were very important. It's kind of like the three-legged stool, right? You have work, you have family, and you have well, let's say you have your business, right? Because that's would have been my three-legged stool. Everyone has a different type of three-legged stool. And so, when I look back, my life was very well balanced, but my parents' life were very well balanced. There was a time for family. There was a time for my parents to go out dancing together. And then there was a time for us to go to church as a family together and then go and visit friends. So I think a lot of times, as a mother, that you set an example for your children to follow so they have a good, healthy life. And I could always go back to my parents if I needed to talk about something. But no one has mentioned this, and I would like to mention this. Whenever I decide to do something, like let's say now the radio station, well, I found a mentor. I found someone who has a radio station or a couple of them where I could talk to them and ask them questions. And then I have a coach that helps me build my radio station, adding the things to it. I didn't do it by myself because it was too complicated. When I learned how to stream, again, I had people that were teaching me, they were showing me. And in 2020, when I really went into it on my own, and I made lots of mistakes, but I think that's the other thing is I always said to people, look, streaming is not perfect. Things like right now, what's going on, you see me, you don't see me. Just take it with a grain of salt. At least I'm here because I wanted to be here. I mean, unfortunately, my internet isn't working very well. But you know what? Life isn't perfect and we're not perfect. And I think you have to be very kind to yourself slap yourself on the shoulder and say you did a really good job. And I learned something really very profound from some very wise people. They said, you know what, you become the friend you want that you're looking for. Like, you become your own friend. So when you do something good, take yourself out for a cup of coffee and say, you know, you did a really good job. Don't have to have anyone else there if you don't want to. So become your own best friend. I think that's the hardest thing to do, and not many people talk about it. Find a good mentor or a coach that will help you on your journey, because they've been there already. I did that with real estate. I did that with my radio show, my radio station, anything I want to learn, you know. And Stephen Healy, who I know, he was actually my first coach with Be Live TV. You know, so I mean, I couldn't have done it. And when I think about the people that were helping me there, and I hope with OneStream now you'll help me too. But he was my coach at that time. He didn't know it, but he had the patience to teach me, and he cared enough to teach me. So I think reach out, find someone who's doing what you want to do, and you'll reach. I think you'll reach your pivotal point where you want to go much faster.
Yeah. That's true about having people helping you and finding mentors. Shout out to Fizza Hassan, who helped me get started with OneStream Live, because I really wanted to live stream and didn't know how. And she gave me her time and energy to show me how to use the platform. So yeah, that matters. But right now, I want to remind all of the users of the latest OneStream Live Studio version update, because we're using it right now. Mm-hmm. If you are a professional live streamer who wants to relay a stable live studio, OneStream Live is your go-to choice. It's actually the only one I use now. I did use Be Live, but I had trouble. That's why I actually literally went crying to Fizza to help me, and she helped me, and that's why I use OneStream now.
I get it.
So let me show you this latest. I pushed. That was nice too. So whoever's doing these videos with the music,
love the music. I love the music.
Yeah, it's just really nice. It gives me really high energy.
It does. It does.
Jade, when I see your videos on TikTok, they make me happy too. You're really good at what you do.
Yeah,
okay.
I think it's
Go ahead.
Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, yeah. So you were showing this video and talking about studio. So I think that's really something that I wanted to mention, that how the team has worked so hard for this, all those years of taking user reviews and knowing what people are looking for in this studio, because this was one of our first products, so it was a first of a kind. So it was so much hard work to gather all that information, getting people reviews from all of our customers and knowing what they want to change, everything that they're looking for. You can always not provide everything to them, but making sure to provide the best of the best. So I think it's a really big moment for the entire team of OneStream Live to bringing this, because I love what I see. I mean, it's smoother, it's stable, it's amazing. I love what I see here.
Yeah. So let me go and ask you guys one last question about technology and innovation. One tip that you want to share with live content creators, especially who is hesitant to go in front of the camera. Anybody want to take this one and be first?
You go first. Go first, Erica.
Oh, okay. I'll be brave. Do it anyway. Yeah, do it anyway. I was once scared. I had a mentor who told me if I wanted to have more people see what I'm doing, if I wanted to have an opportunity to help more people, I had to do it anyway. So I started out just using Zoom. I asked people to meet me on Facebook, and it's like, no. They literally said no. Some people block me, some people unfriend me, but you know what? I'm still doing it. I went to, like I said earlier, I went to Be Live. I live streamed for an hour straight. So I thought I was not live streaming. I pushed the wrong button. and I did not record it.
Yeah.
I was
Oh, yeah.
furious. That is why I literally went crying to Fizza, who showed me how to work this program. So I didn't get that kind of service from anybody else.
Yeah.
So that's why I
Yeah.
still use this, because they taught me how to use it.
You know
Yeah.
what? Can I just add, Erica? I think that's the secret. Is and I have just purchased. I'm into artificial intelligence now. Think about that. 1982 till now. Who would have thunk artificial intelligence? You know, and I'm in my 70s. That you know what I think that's missing with a lot of groups or new AI or new apps is they don't meet with you. I mean, it's fun sending text back and forth, but nothing like people just sitting on there on a Zoom or Google Meet or at this platform and showing you how to do it, right? And teaching you step by step. So you learn, I learn by doing. I don't learn by reading it necessarily, right? I just need a helping hand and then I just zoom, go from there. I think that's what's missing. And I'm glad they have it with this one, you know, with this particular program. And I think that's the part that I think anyone who's trying to sell a new program, it will have to hold our hands, because there's so much going on at the same time. There's so much noise going on, and we really have to zero in on how to learn it, right? And the other thing too is I got to the point where even if it's not perfect, it's still okay. I still went on there and tried my best, you know, and I'm learning along the way and not to be so hard on myself or on anybody else, you know. It's scary. I remember I had somebody, I think they were on my show or something, they were actually shaking. And I said to them, there's nothing to be shaky about. Just relax. It's, you know, if it's good, great. If it's not, it's not. We'll try it again. And I've had so many times, even with Be Live TV in the past, where nothing worked or it didn't load up or Facebook didn't want that program to work anymore. Like there's always something different happening every day. It's like you're problem solving every single day, Jade and Erica. That's what I see it, you know?
Yeah. What do you got to add to this, Jade? One tip that you want to share with live streamers, live content creators, especially who is hesitant to go in front of the camera?
Yeah, I think as a content creator or even as a person, I personally think that the people who are more hesitant for these things should definitely go for these things, because it's not just about live streaming or a career or a profession. It's about your character development. It's about your personal growth, because the kind of confidence you get by doing this, what we're doing right now, is just unbeatable. You're not going to get that from anywhere. You're not going to get that from your schools. You're not going to get that from any other type of thing, because you're going to face criticism. You're going to have to read negative comments and live through them, thrive through them, and, you know, just not get shattered just because someone said anything or made a joke about you. So I think the criticism, the negative comments, the jokes, they're just part of it, and they're important, because they're going to build into something that's just, you know, after that you can just, you know, dodge any bullet and you're going to be good to go. So the people who are hesitant to do it should definitely do it.
Yes, definitely believe that. Well, I want to thank you both for being here. Anka, I know you're not here, but maybe you see us in the replay. Thank you for being here also. I appreciate all of you guys being here. And if you haven't yet done so, please check out OneStream Live, the new studio, because all the buttons I get to push, I love it. I actually do love pushing buttons. And yeah. And if you need help, you know, you got people here to help you. So just throw that out there. Jade, let people know where they can find you on social. Where's your social hangout spot?
Yeah, it says Frustrated Donut. Let me know if you need me to spell that.
Go ahead, spell it.
Yeah, it's FRUSTRATEDUNONUT. I hope I've spelled that right. It's Frustrated and Donut. Let's just not go into the details of how I came up with that. It's just it was just a teenage mistake that I'm still very proud of and still keeping up with. So yeah, that's
all right. Okay, Maria, where can people find you on social?
Oh, all over the place. Just punch my name in, Maria Recruit, Rekrut. You can find me on Facebook. Send me a message. Say that you found me, you watched this program, and I will share it with OneStream because they may become your clients. Also, you can go to my website, realwealthrealestate.com. I post blogs on there, my videos, my interviews, YouTube. I'm on Real Estate Media News Network, my YouTube channel. And also I have my own podcast. It's called Maria Recruit and All Things Real Estate. And you can find me on my radio station, realwealthradio.net. And I have my own radio show, 4680q.ca, every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you can find me. Thanks.
All right. Well, you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm actually all over, but if you actually want me to answer you, it's LinkedIn. All right. Well, thank you both for being here. Thank you, Anka, for being here. Thank you all for being live with us because we appreciate you being live. We love seeing your comments, and I love putting them on the screen. Happy International Women's Day.
Yes, happy International Women's Day, everyone. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye for now.
Bye. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.